प्रणीतं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
Maybe if you all can move forward a little bit closer, so that people, whoever is coming, maybe they can.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, today we will be discussing from the Yuddha Kand of Sri Valmiki Ramayana. So this is the volume wherein majorly we are going to discuss from the Sundara Kand. Yesterday it was the Yuddha Kand. So today I will be discussing from the Sundara Kand. So this is where a large portion of this volume, this Kanda, is dedicated to Hanumanji's travels in his search for Mother Sita. So, Maharshi Valmiki describes how Ravan, he kidnapped Sita and he took her to his capital city, Lanka. And after a long search, trying to follow the path, the trail taken by Ravana, Lord Ramachandra and Lakshman, they become friends with Sugriva and his minister, Sri Hanuman. In the course of events, Hanumanji, he travels to Lanka. And today the topic is not to discuss about his travel, but it is about what was the purpose of Hanumanji's travel. And then what did he do there? So what was the purpose of Hanumanji's travel?
To search for Sita.
To search for Sita. Correct?
Yes.
It was to find Sita and give her the ring that Lord Ram had given to Hanumanji. So imagine, there is a small ring. So Hanumanji must be having a backpack. he cannot wear the ring on his finger. So if he keeps the ring in his palm, that would be a little awkward. Where do you think Hanumanji was holding the ring? Ever thought about that? No one does think about it, right? They all think about flying. Hanumanji flying. There's this little ring. And he has to be so careful about the ring that he has to preserve the ring and hand it over to Sita. This is where in business classes, those seminars, that you pay and you attend, they'll teach you how it is important to take care of the smaller. Yes. Have you ever heard in any of the descriptions, spoken descriptions or written descriptions of Ramayana, how Hanumanji carried that ring?
In the drama, we keep in dhoti.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
We keep it in
In the drama, you keep it in the dhoti,
dhoti and then take it out.
isn't it? So maybe Hanumanji did that. Well, he figured out a way to carry that ring. It's amazing that he found out a safe way. Or he found out a way to keep the ring safe till he handed it over. Because before that, he had to travel fly here, there, go through so many different buildings. He had a bigger task at hand. Where is Sita? When you have such big tasks at hand, sometimes you forget, right? Like when you're wanting to receive a guest, sometimes you forget that you have to bring along the garland. Small things. Is it true?
Yeah.
When everything is being prepared for some occasion, sometimes you forget that you had to call the person that was supposed to bring the water bottles, the water. Don't you do that? Hanumanji wasn't like us, I guess. He's very smart. Hence we pray to Hanuman. That is why our culture, we are trained to pray to Hanuman for to give us good intelligence. And good intelligence is helpful also to take care of the smaller things in life. You need good intelligence for that. Yes? Small things like submitting your projects on time, being present for the interview online, or many things. Smaller things like that. Taking care of it. So Hanumanji, he finds Sita, he convinces her. He has very strong convincing abilities, I guess. Now, Sita has been raised as a princess. Her father, Janak, is a very, very smart person. In fact, he's an encyclopedia himself. People from all over would come to Janak. Janak was a chat GPT of those times, I guess. Like everyone, so many intellectuals would come to Janak Maharaj, the father of Sita, to have discussions with him on scriptures, on social responsibilities, on finances, management. So what do you think? If you have a father that smart in your house, what happens? What kind of education does a child get? Direct and indirect. Sita is extremely smart. And Janak Maharaj is philosophically sound, intellectually stout. So even though he may be very humble and respectful in his dealings, you really need to have good data information to converse with him. And you really need to be well established in your own conclusions to convince Janak Maharaj. Would it be possible that Janak Maharaj had trained up Sita, and obviously she has another sister and two cousins too? Is it possible that Janak Maharaj, along with his younger brother, do you think that they would have that kind of atmosphere at home? Where they would be having discussions and debates with their daughters? quite possible.
Yeah.
How does Sita, of such vast intellectual capacity, get convinced by Hanuman? That speaks so much about Hanumanji's capabilities. He's such a powerful person. No wonder in our culture we pray to Hanumanji. We seek blessings from Hanumanji. So he convinced Sita. Did he convince her? He convinced her enough for her to have trust in him. Isn't it? Just as Lord Ram, he shared a very, very significant detail of his interaction with Sita that no one else in the universe knows except Major son of Indra, Jayanta.
Jayanta.
Other than that, no one else knows. Similarly, Sita shared a similar episode. So, Hanumanji became the confidential person for Ram and Sita to express the deep, deep emotions of their life with Hanumanji. Should Hanumanji feel proud about it? Why not? If you have your worshipable personality share the smaller, intimate details of their life with you, wouldn't you feel very proud about it? Is it possible?
Yes.
So why shouldn't Hanumanji feel proud about it? I mean, the good kind of pride, right? Shouldn't he feel very fortunate that both Ram and Sita shared with him so many intimate dealings that were only known to the two of them? Should Hanumanji be concerned that he has absolutely no interest in the affairs of married family life? Should he be concerned that such close moments of Mother Sita and Lord Ram are being shared with him? These are certain aspects of the Ramayana that make it very interesting. What kind of characteristics should a person have to attract such trust? That is Sri Hanuman. So Hanumanji has, that is all. Did Lord Ram expect anything else from Sri Hanuman or anyone else? All they needed to do was find out about Sita, right? So what did Hanumanji have? Hanumanji, he had a very, very scientist moment. You know what is a scientist moment? The moment where you think you can explore the mysteries of the universe and you decide to do that. So Hanumanji had that moment in life. Why don't I take this opportunity and find out how powerful are the people, the great warriors in Ravana's kingdom. What is the strength of his army? How does the city look? What are its fortifications? What are its strengths and what are its weaknesses? Now, this idea that was germinating in Hanumanji's fertile brain, which is full of devotion and servitude, was at that moment beyond his pay grade. Isn't it? But Hanuman is Hanuman, and we are simply, okay, Hanuman, and we are simply man. Man. He is special. So Hanumanji, he creates some ruckus. First he does that in the presence of Sita. And Sita is concerned for him. She's like, oh Hanuman, please don't get hurt. And Hanuman is like, I get to show off my strength in front of my dear mother. What child doesn't want to do that? Then he gets captured. Sita hears of the news. She is praying for him. Hanuman's intent was, let me have a one-on-one, direct face-to-face talk with the great Ravan. Now there are various commentaries on the Ramayana. Not on the Ramayana. There is depictions or personal renditions of Lord Ram's activities. Typically, we commonly call it as renditions on the Ramayana. They may not necessarily be renditions on the Ramayana. It is about people who have heard about Lord Ram's activities in the Ramayana again and again and again, and then they have had their own understanding, perceptions, realizations. So they've written a lot about Lord Ram's activities. From his birth or prior to his birth and up to his coronation and beyond. Do you remember the time you growing up in? How many of you grew up in India? Like your childhood you spent in India, growing up, going to school, college. Please raise up your hands. Okay. Do you remember the biscuits, Parle-G biscuits? Everyone remembers Parle-G biscuits. You get it here at the Indian store, I guess. But Parle-G. Yes. Correct? Parle-G. Yes. Now the general populace in India had no desire to call other brands of biscuits anything but Parle-G. So they would go to the store and they would say, give me a packet of Parle-G. And they would say, no, we have Britannia. So say, all right, give me those biscuits. They would take it home. And if somebody would ask them, what do you have? They'll say, Parle-G. Because for them, biscuits meant Parle-G. Synonymous, correct? Correct? I'm not sure about here, but growing up in India, how many of you have gone to get photocopies? Growing up in India.
Xerox.
Whether it is Canon,
Xerox.
still everyone says Xerox. In fact, here also you may be sometimes embarrassed when you say, can I have some Xerox copies? And they're like, what? Oh, photocopies. It's a photocopier. Photocopies, right? But it's Xerox. Therefore, wherever we get any person writings on the Ramayana, on Lord Ram's activities, we say it is a Ramayana. Make sense? There's only one Ramayana. That is Valmiki Ramayana. There have been other authors. They have also given their rendition. Some of them also called as Ramayana, but not just Ramayana. They're called as maybe Kamba Ramayana, Moola Ramayana, so on and so forth. Yes? So there are so many. Somebody just did some research. The Indian subcontinent, Southeast Asia, Thailand, Indonesia, etc. There are renditions of Ramayana all over. Do you know how many renditions they kind of figured out because they like to give numbers everywhere? Just like we like to give numbers that there are so many X numbers of temples that we have all over the world. Correct? And it seems great, isn't it? When we hear we have about 1,000 temples all over the world, doesn't it feel like we've conquered the world now? We have 1,000 temples! So once upon a time, Srila Prabhupada was sitting in the Juhu temple, Harekrishna land, 1970s. And he was talking to his disciples. And then his disciples, especially Tamal Krishna Maharaj was there, Giriraj Swami Maharaj was there, the others too. They had come up with certain proposal. And Prabhupada said, okay. So there is Mahavishnu who lies down on the causal ocean. I'm going to explain certain concepts here. Please don't be confused if you've never heard about it. It's just me trying to brag about how much I know. Okay? So please don't be confused. So Mahavishnu lies down in the causal ocean. Now from every single pore of Mahavishnu's body comes out unlimited universe, not one universe, unlimited universes from every pore. So unlimited raised to the power of unlimited, that is the number of universes that is there. Sometimes we think that only one pore, from one pore only one universe comes out. Do you think the Lord's single pore is so limited? So unlimited universes come out from the pores of Mahavishnu's Divya, transcendental body. Within each universe, there are 14 planetary systems. Hopefully. We are trying to superimpose our idea of our universe on other universes. But let us say 14 planetary systems. So sometimes it is called as Chauda Bhuvana Lok or Chauda Lok, 14 planetary systems. Alright? On one of those planetary systems, there are so many celestial bodies. One of those celestial bodies is Bhumi, Earth. On this Earth, there are unlimited cities. Prabhupada said countries, but forget it. I would just come to cities now. Right? What do you think? What is the number of cities? Let us say, what are the number of countries? Since we are all over the world now. Or how many countries would you think there are there presently?
195.
Oh, great. Someone looks up in that article, number of passports that it it's in the 190s. Sometimes, they break up, they again come together. Countries do that. So out of these 190 plus countries, there is one country called as India, Bharat. And in Bharat, how many states and union territories? Total around high 20s, 28, sometimes 29. Right now, I think it is 28. I could be wrong. So, out of 28 states, there is just one state of Maharashtra. How many districts in Maharashtra? I think maybe in the 20s or 30s. Let's say 30s. 30 districts in Maharashtra. Out of that, there is this one district which has so many communities and localities. Like hundreds of localities. One city called Mumbai has hundreds of localities, out of which one locality is Juhu. In Juhu, there are so many lanes, out of which one lane is the Harekrishna Mandir lane. And on that lane, there are so many buildings, out of which one building is the Harekrishna temple, ISKCON. And in this building, there are so many rooms, and in one room, there are at least 5 or 6 people, including Srila Prabhupada. And one of those persons thinks that he has conquered the world. He is the controller. So when we project ourselves like that, we are all over the world, it gives us that kind of feeling. It makes us feel that our aura is really huge. True? Okay. So Hanumanji wanted to see what would be the extent of Ravana's power, greatness, connectivity, outreach. Whatever he had in mind, he was trying to get as much data and information as is possible. So we were speaking about how there are so many renditions of Lord Ram's activities. So there is one rendition. That rendition is that when Hanumanji was traveling through the various lanes of the city of Lanka, trying to figure out where would Sita be. So he comes up to one residence. And that residence stands apart from the other residences. Do you know why? Because on the walls of that residence, somebody had imprinted the word Ram. Hanumanji is like, who is this? I mean, if in those times we had the ISKCON movement, then he would be very sure that this is some initiated ISKCON devotee. Only they take up such challenges, right? Not all of them, some of them. There are very rare species who do that. So Hanumanji is like, who is this? So whose house do you think it is? Whose residence was it? Vibhishan. How did Vibhishan do that? This is Ravana's land. And of late Ram and Ravana are not on very good terms. Why would he have the words Ram imprinted all over the house? Why would you do that?
I think I heard somewhere he convinced that Rav is for Ravan and Ma is for Mandodari.
And that is the very source from where I got my information. So externally, you can be at your workplace, you may not have tilak, you may have buttoned up so your kantimala is not seen. Right? And then if it is seen, people ask you, sometimes you may say, because you're from ISKCON, so that extra weirdness would be there, which makes us very, very always want to explain things, isn't it? But occasionally you can always say, oh, this is just a necklace. Prepare them for that. Because there is that route, the Vibhishan route. Yes? Anyways. So Ravana, he asked, what is this? How can you have the name of my enemy on your house? He said, oh, no. This is not Ram's name. This is you and sister-in-law. Abbreviated version of your names together. I worship. And Vibhishan wasn't actually lying. He worshipped them as, just as we are supposed to worship, as Lakshmi Narayan. You're supposed to worship, especially in society and householder life, we're supposed to respect all elders, every couple as Lakshmi Narayan. We are supposed to. But I guess unless until we get paid for it, we are not going to do it. Isn't it? So, but Vibhishan as of yet hadn't given anything substantial to Hanumanji. So Hanumanji had to do it on his own. So Hanumanji comes in front of Ravan, he challenges Ravan. Ravan asks him, who are you? And that famous statement of Hanumanji, that, who am I? Rama Duta. I am simply a messenger of Lord Ram. And he describes Lord Ram as one who can accomplish any insurmountable task in a moment. Ramasya klishta karmasya dasoham. He says, I am the servant of Lord Ram. It's a very powerful mantra. However, the same powerful mantra is present to us in the form of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Dasoham kaushalendrasya, Ramasya klishta karma. Ravana is like, how dare you punish him? Long story cut short, Hanumanji's tail is set on fire. He runs around all of Lanka, jumps from one building to the other, and there are not sufficient fire engines with water in them to put out the fire that engulfed the whole city of Lanka. So everyone was out on the streets trying to save their life and whatever property they could. And then Hanumanji, he goes to the ocean to put out the fire on his tail. Right? That is what you see when they show you the drama renditions of the Ramayana. Ramanand Sagar's Ramayana, that is what you see. He puts his tail to douse off the flames on his tail. Right? Hanumanji sees, he has this vantage viewpoint. He sees the whole city of Lanka burning and burned to ashes. Completely destroyed. Obviously, the armories and wherever the financial institutions are, they must have been specially protected. But in general, most of the residences, the gardens, places where people would go and spend time, public places, all of them burned, and the flames, the embers are still there. Every single citizen of Lanka is gripped with fear because they know that Ravana's 911 is no longer responding. There's no one to take up the calls. And that is the moment Hanumanji has some self-doubts. So he finished up the task. Lord Ram has sent him to find Sita, hand over the ring. He asked her if he wants to send a message back to Lord Ram because she was not ready to come along with him. So he collects that message, memorizes it. Then he goes doing all of this. One complete battalion, a platoon of Ravana's army is destroyed. It's actually Akshoni. Like lakhs, millions of soldiers. Akshay Kumar, the son, is gone. Indrajit captures him. Tail put on fire and the whole city is burned by him. Now shouldn't he feel that his task is accomplished? He starts having self-doubts. And to quote the Ramayana, these are certain interesting thoughts that Hanumanji is having. You'll find it very relevant. Dhanyaste purusha shrestha ye buddhya kopamuttitam Nirundhanti Mahatmano Diptamagnim. He says, Ye buddhya kopa uthitam. Kopa means anger. Uthitam. Who is able to transcend anger, control those very, very powerful and strong emotions of anger? Nirundhanti Mahatmana. A Mahatma. Who's a Mahatma here? A Mahatma is somebody who has attended very, very powerful and well-meaning anger management classes and seminars and internalize it. That is the Mahatma. Who is a Mahatma? In this verse, somebody who has attended those anger management classes. Because topic being addressed is Kopa. Now you and me, we are never going to come out of the Parle-G complex. True? Is it true? Why? Because for us a Mahatma will be someone who's sense control. Always. Mahanatma. That is very generic. Very, very generic. It is as generic as saying that some of you are engineers. I had a friend come to my house, a gentleman, the neighbor. He says, "Oh, what is the profession?" So I tell him that he's done computer engineering. "Oh, an engineer. You know, some of the electrical boards in my house, they're not working. Can you please fix it up?" He's like, "I'm not an electrical engineer. I'm a computer engineer." He's like, "But you're an engineer, right?" So when we hear the word Mahatma in terms of anger management, we think a Mahatma is a Mahatma. So you should also know how to do lust management. Just as an engineer is supposed to know metallurgy, chemical, isn't it? Civil, computer, all of that. An engineer is supposed to know that? No. So who's the Mahatma here? Nirundhanti Mahatma. Nirundhanti. What have they controlled? What have they subdued? This propensity to be affected by anger. It doesn't say that they do not let anger arise in them. Sometimes your blood just boils. Does it boil? We don't know. But that phrase comes from it's just physiology. What is the physiology? When the heart is pumping more blood, the blood vessels have to cooperate, therefore they expand. Because there is expansion, there is going to energy. What happens when work is done? Any work that is performed in this world by any physical element, what is one of the ways energy is lost? Typical ways. Heat, sound. Correct? Is it true? Mm-hmm. Body gets heated up. Then people say blood is boiling. So you have to take care of your body. You should not let your blood boil. Conserve that energy. So they have understood, realized, practiced how they should conserve and not let the emotions leading to anger overpower their existence. It's just a waste of their energy and they do not want to let that happen. That is a Mahatma here. So Hanumanji is kind of remembering those Mahatmas because he feels he is not a Mahatma right now. He says, Nirundhanti Mahatmana. Those Mahatmas. Right? Like if you're supposed to be humble in a society of where humility is a big thing. It's like, oh, you have to be humble in front of God, you have to be humble in front of this, in front of the deity, in front of your seniors, in front of etc., etc., etc. The Guru, the spiritual master teaches, right? So even if someone asks you that, oh, I hear that you've made some progress, what would the response be? Oh no, I'm just insignificant. I've done nothing. It is they, the Mahatma. It is just by the mercy of XYZ Mahatma. You have terms for that, right? What are the terms that we use? Senior devotee, advanced devotee, Guru, Mahatma, not us. So Hanumanji is saying, Nirundhanti Mahatma, Deeptam Agnim Evam Bhasa. Just as soon as, in Marathi we say, Agni Pet To. As soon as fire bursts out, what is your first instinct? Regular, the normal fire, not an electrical fire, a regular fire. Your first instinct is to get a bucket of water, sufficient water, and splash it over the fire so that it gets doused. Correct? Ivam Bhasa, water. So what do the Mahatmas do? The Mahatmas have learned this technique through their anger management procedures. Somewhere within their constitution, they always keep loads and loads of water, so that whenever the fire of anger rises up, they go splash. Nirundhanti. Wouldn't that be a good idea? Shouldn't we have such tools in our life? We should have, right? I talking to you, you talking to me is simply a conception of the mind. Do I really exist the way you understand me to exist? That is a big topic of discussion. It's just an imagination. Basically, it is just an imagination. Because you figure out that this particular form that has made an image on your retina is supposed to be human, a male, because that is the narrative that you've subscribed to. Therefore, you think this is who I am. So it is an imagination of your narrative. Who am I? Who are you? It's a big topic of discussion. But it also opens up the idea that the brain can conceive of narratives and implement them. So if you can conceive of how to have loads of water which are capable of dousing the fire of anger, then you become a Mahatma that can control, that has sense control, self-control over anger issues. But it cannot be my borrowed idea. It cannot be the neighbor's borrowed idea. It has to be your realized conception. That is called as sakshatkar or self-realization. Hence, some of the tips that you receive from these classes are helpful. But typically, in the long journey of life, all of these tips fail you either because you are not able to hold on to those tools, or the tools are not really always effective. Therefore, what does the Vedic culture teach you? It teaches you, ultimately we have to realize, Jahi vidhi rakhe Ram, tahi vidhi rahiye. Sitaram, Sitaram, Sitaram kahiye. Jahi vidhi. Understand what are the opportunities available to you, because those opportunities have been given by the Lord for you to be productive, even in the moments of deepest despair, in the moments of deepest angst. Jahi vidhi rakhe Ram, tahi vidhi rahiye. if we imbibe this philosophy. And we can conceive of this narrative. This is the narrative. Now we very offhandedly we just comment. Ultimately, whatever Krishna wants, that is going to happen. As long as it is happening in someone else's life, it is good. But when it happens in our own lives, then 5 times out of 10 events, we are concerned that why Krishna, why me? Why are you being so merciful unto me? Making me go through all of these challenges. Hence, this philosophy, this Vedic approach, the approach of Sanatan Dharma, Jahi vidhi rakhe Ram, tahi vidhi rahiye, tahi vidhi rahiye. See the opportunities that Lord Ram offers you, even in those moments of great challenges. There are opportunities. The trees are still surviving, the rivers are still flowing, the wind is still existing, the sun is still giving its lights. Look at those opportunities. It is not dark. Even if it is night time, the stars are twinkling. Tahi vidhi. So it is the conception that, okay, just accept things and go on, is a very basic understanding of this philosophy. We have to look always at the bigger picture. Because this beautiful, beautiful existence, material nature, Krishna's energy offers us unlimited opportunities to be productive. Unlimited. And being productive helps us feel fulfilled in life. What have I done? Says Hanuman. Oh my God! I have burned down this Lanka. Fortunate indeed are those great souls whose anger is kept in check by their discernment, like fire is by water. So Hanuman is in a very, very different space right now. That could not be all, right? He's a very vocal person. He has very powerful ability of speech. Very powerful intellect. Kruddha papam na kuryatka, kruddho hanyat gurunapi, kruddha purushaya vacha, narasadhunapi chipet. Narah sadhunadhi chipet. Kruddha, a person who is subdued by their inflamed anger, by their own situation where they become personally engulfed with this emotion of anger. Their existence is completely taken over by anger. Kruddho papam na kuryatka. The person does not understand whether their approach in life is going to cause them harm or will it be beneficial. Papam na kuryata doesn't understand what is papam. Then kruddho hanyad gurunapi. Hanyad. One would want to assassinate the character of gurus, the grave personalities, elders, in anger. Character assassination. Which typically any decent human would never do. Why would anyone criticize the elders? And it's not criticism, it is anyat. Character assassination. They have so many years of experience, good or bad. They are like a library, that are living library of experiences available for us. Why would we want to destroy and burn the bridges that connect us with them? That is such stupidity. Therefore, in Vedic culture, we are taught to respect our elders because they are living testimony of what life has to offer. For example, you're lost and you find an adolescent child and you find an elderly person. Whom would you approach typically if you're really, really, really lost?
Elderly person.
Why?
He may know more.
He experienced.
See, this is what elders embodify. Shouldn't we be respecting them? Why? Because it is for our own selfish benefit. But kruddha, anger, we speak harsh words to elders. Sadhu kshipet adhikship. We hurl abuses at sadhus because we know they are so tolerant, they will never ever revert back. Right? And if the sadhu does that, we are like, what kind of sadhu are you? Does it happen or it doesn't happen? Yeah? Supposing you have Kanti Manatala chanting back, and if someone is challenging you and you challenge them back in the same coin, they're like, you're supposed to be a devotee. This is not how you should be behaving. Krodha makes a person anger, makes a person throw insults at saintly men. Parushaya vacha, harsh insults. I mean, what dark spaces is Hanumanji going into? He's having doubts, right? But you see what is happening to him? He's like, oh, this anger is so bad. The elders are harmed. Sometimes you also, do character assassination, or you may even kill them. You insult saintly people. Hey, Hanuman, you're in Lanka. What's happened to you? Because self-doubts. One who is taken over by anger would not be able to distinguish between what is appropriate to say and what is not. There is nothing that a man possessed by rage would not say or do. Only he who can cast aside his anger as quickly as it rises like a snake. Have you heard about how snakes, they give up their skin? You know about it? Do you think it is a very pleasing experience for them? Is it painful? You have no idea?
No idea.
So, the skin of a snake, typically a snake grows, but its skin doesn't grow. So after some time, the snake's body feels suffocated. So now it has to give up its skin. So the snake cannot come up to the snake doctor and say, hey doctor, I need an appointment, right? So first of all, the skin is actually causing them pain. Because every time the snakes don't travel straight, right? A winding route, isn't it? So the skin, the tight skin makes it very difficult for them. It's very painful for them. And as they're trying to give up that skin by going around a tree trunk or against, sometimes even they pass through thorns so that the skin gets ripped off. They have to be very careful that there are no ants around, or it's their death. Very painful experience. And Hanumanji says, An intelligent person gives off their anger just like that. It's a very painful experience having anger, just as a snake gives off its skin. Only a capable man is able to give up their anger. Why is Hanumanji doing this? I mean, why is he dealing with his anger issues right now and speaking about all of these different ideas of anger? Because finally he concludes, Dikastu, I am so wretched, for I have shamelessly committed the sin of hurting my dear Lord and Master. Without thinking about the welfare of Sita, I set Lanka on fire, and Ashok Vatika is right in the middle of Lanka. So most all of the parks, public places, residences, hospitals are on fire, except where the armory, the financial institutions, they are always very well shielded. Is it true? Because those are important assets for the city, isn't it? The army, wherever they store their armory, right? Their tanks and all of that is kept very safe. So except those places. And I hurt my Lord. I did not think about Sita before setting Lanka on fire. And now Lanka is burned down. So Janaki must have also been caught in the fire. I ruined the very purpose of my coming to Lanka, the purpose with which Lord Ram sent me to Lanka. I completely ruined it. Because Janaki must be dead by now. Sugriva, sending his armies in all the four directions, all this effort that was made, all that effort has come to naught. It is undone. Right? Imagine Janmashtami. How many of you like to work in the kitchen on festivals in our ISKCON temple? Just the ladies, the gents don't do anything.
Cut the sabji and like that.
Cut the sabji and do things like that. Yes, so work in the kitchen, right? Let's suppose you're making this huge tub full of kheer, sweet rice. Kheer, everyone knows? A big tub. For hours, half an hour, 1 hour, maybe 4 hours. You're stirring the milk with the rice in it. Huge quantity. Is 40 liters good enough? Do you think 40 liters is good enough? Or is it too much? Do you think we've made 40 liters of kheer at our temple here for any occasion?
Depend how many people.
More? Oh, sorry. 100 liters? Is that a good number? 100 liters of kheer. It's ready. It's like looking so good. And at 12 o'clock or 10 o'clock or wherever you distribute prasad, in the evening, prasadam is being served out. Everyone is like, oh, who put salt in the kheer? All that effort becomes undone. And then the manhunt that is done to find out who did that. So Hanumanji was preparing a nice kheer. And suddenly he feels that instead of sugar, he's put salt into it. Shouldn't Hanumanji be concerned about the manhunt that would be done? Yes? The very purpose for which all this effort was made has been undone. Sita, of course, cannot be saved. And all because of my stupidity. I just went in this great enthusiasm, burning down the whole city of Lanka, sparing no nook and cranny. And I come to Lanka just to look for Sita. So when I was in Lanka, right from the time we went out looking for Sita, everyone was like, where is Sita? Where is Sita? Where is Sita? Where is Sita? Sita, 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 Sita. He's flying. Sita, 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 Sita. He's searching every palace, every palatial building, the parks, everywhere. Sita, Sita. He finds Sita. He's like, Sita, Sita, Sita. And then he goes to Ravana's palace and he's forgotten the chant of Sita. There's no longer Sita, Sita, because task has been achieved. Now he has to go back to Lord Ram, right? And he's wondering, what did I do? Without a doubt, just when everything is all but accomplished, it was undone by my anger and ruined the very purpose of all the efforts that was put in. This is a very good lesson. Yesterday I was speaking about how the Ramayana has so many ways that today in the modern times, how we have segregated so many special techniques and endeavors. It teaches about how important anger management is. And who else but Hanumanji to teach us? Greatest teacher. He's very, very disturbed. Very disturbed. And all of this is happening within moments, right? He's come. He's put out the fire on his tail. Stands back like this. Looks at Lanka like, now I know what is your strength. He's about to jump off. Jump back across the ocean. Reality hits. And he's going through this crisis. And do you see what happens when one gets challenged about, are we capable enough at fulfilling the tasks handed over to us or not? That self-doubt is very, very dangerous. Very dangerous. Because those emotions, those feelings, the intensity of how the body is responding to all of the thought processes, it takes a toll. It's not good. Janaki must have perished. Why? Because as Hanumanji is going through this analysis, breaking it down, he looks at the city. In the city, the smoke and the embers are now settling down. He's like, finished. And it's like you put milk on the flames, on the stove, and you forget about it because you're taking darshan of temple in Mayapur online or something like that. And you're so into it, after some time you're like, what's that burning smell? And when you come back to the kitchen, you see that the vessel has turned black. Not only has the milk overflowed, not only has the milk been completely burnt and evaporated, but it has charred the vessel. Have you ever had an experience like that? Good. That is how Hanumanji is looking at the charred remnants of the city of Lanka and is like, there's no way. So everything, every observation is making him convinced in different ways that Sita cannot survive. So what is the next step? What happens when you go down that spiral? The Ramayana explains. I shall lay down my life right here. First thing that comes to mind is, let me run away. Escape. Right here, Hanumanji knows that Lord Ram, he has eyes everywhere, right? Maybe this aspect of Lord Ram was taken over by some of those countries, like, that communist country where they have cameras all over and all of the citizens are monitored. Right above India. So that is how Hanumanji is feeling now. Lord Ram has eyes everywhere. So where can I run? Let me lay down my life right here. The mission has been undone by my lack of judgment. If I had still been in the mood of Sita, then as soon as my tail had been set on fire and I was set free, I would have jumped to Ashok Vatika, taken Sita to the ocean. I would have told her, run, if you don't want to come with me, let me carry you, run to the ocean. And then I would have come back and burned the city. But my tail was on fire, I was going to have fun. I was going to find out. This is going the extra mile in the service of Lord Ram. So, here he is now. I shall lay down my life. That's the first step. Then what's the next step? How does the psyche, how does it really mistreat you? Mistreat your existence if you are in that space in your life, if you are in that state of existence. I shall throw myself into fire. I burned Sita by fire, I shall throw myself into fire. Or I shall fall into the jaws of the great fire in the depths of the ocean. Now Hanumanji, because he has done his PhD in the geography and the geology of this universe, he's like coming up with such intense ideas. So where does he want to jump into? There is a special Agni at the bottom of the ocean. It is because that is one of the concepts of Jyotish, astronomy, the Vedic astronomy. It is that fire that is there that keeps the water boiling, waves. When you put water in a vessel on the stove, is the water, and you have not put it on, lighted the stove, does the water stay stable?
Yes.
Or does it have ripples?
Stable.
Stable. As soon as you turn on the fire, what happens? Vadagani it is called as. The special fire in the ocean. Or Vadavanal. That fire in the ocean. So he doesn't want to enter any fire. He wants to jump into the ocean and go into that fire. Because that will be justice according to him. Or I'll consign my body as food to the creatures of the sea. Having ruined the mission, how can I continue to be alive? How can I see Sugriva, the king of our community? And how can I face the two lions among men, the sons of Dashrath? I have heard, and for all times to come, now every generation is going to always accept that monkeys are fickle-minded. And I am living proof of that fickle-mindedness of monkeys. My arrogance, which knows no control, it is that arrogance that blinded me against thinking of the welfare of Sita and the safety of Sita. So now he's gone to another level of desperation, right? There's another level after that. If Sita perishes, definitely Ram will perish. Then Lakshman is also going to die. And with them, Sugriva, who's their dear friend, he will not want to live. So he'll give up his life. Sugriva gone, the entire monkey dynasty will be gone, the Vanara dynasty will be gone. Now, message will reach, this news will reach Bharata. Bharat will give up his life. Shatrughan will give up his life. The mothers will give up their life. And when everyone in the Ikshvaku dynasty has given up their life, then the residents of the city, they'll be in despair. In this way, I could have been the messenger of good and have become personified death for my community and for the Ikshvaku community. How is it that great personalities, when they are faced by serious challenges in their life, they undergo such darkness? Can Hanumanji ever undergo such darkness? My understanding, based on the Vaishnava understanding, is that no. But then the Ramayana has to teach us lessons. Right? Supposing your child is participating in a drama and your child has to play the role of a teacher, and you as a parent have to assist. At school, this drama has to be put on. How would you want your child to be trained? How would you work on your child? Because when the child appears on stage, you want the child to portray the image of a teacher. And if the child convincingly does that, then everyone says, that's very good acting, isn't it? Correct? Hence, when we read about Hanumanji going through such phases, we look at Hanumanji and we say, that's very good acting. He's really portraying what an individual could be going through when they face such challenges in their life. And then the Ramayana. See, the Ramayana is the Ramayana, right? So the Ramayana has to give us an olive branch. It cannot leave us hanging in despair. Athava charu sarvangi rakshita svena tejasa nana shishyati kalyani. Sita is being addressed as Kalyani here. One who brings auspiciousness in the world. Nana shishyati kalyani nagni ragno pravartate. Hanumanji says, Rakshita svena tejasa. By her own tejas, her prowess, she is able to protect herself. Na nashishyati kalyani, and she who brings auspiciousness to the entire creation. Indeed, she cannot be destroyed by an ordinary fire. You know what is Kalyan? You know what Kalyan means? Kalyani is a person that brings about auspiciousness. You know what is Kalyan? What Kalyan means? Good luck, auspiciousness, right? Happy tidings. That is Kalyan, isn't it? Progress. These are the understandings of the word Kalyan. What it basically means is that when you have auspiciousness or when you have good luck in your life, good fortune, that is burning away everything else. That is not required. It burns away all that is inauspicious. Hence, the idea of good fortune, it is very much symbolic of how fire purifies all that it consumes. Similarly, Kalyan is like a fire that purifies one's life. So when one has Kalyamastu, one has Kalyan in one's life, that Kalyan, that good fortune is going to burn away all inauspiciousness in our life. Correct? Therefore, na agni agnau pravarte. How can fire burn fire? How can fire burn fire? Why? Because she is Kalyani, she is fire herself. She burns away the inauspiciousness in this world just by her presence, just by thinking of her, taking her name. Hanumanji has glorified Sita as much as he has glorified Ram. Sometimes he glorifies her much more. Therefore, personally, sometimes I feel that the Ramayana is more about glorification of Sita. A lot of people may not agree because they'll bring up so many other incidences. Then why this happens with Sita? Why? But those are just tidbits of the Ramayana. If we read Maharshi's Ramayana, Sita is, she is greatness personified. I mean, just Sita. It is immense fortune just to say that. So, despair, thinking about his stupidity, his lack of judgment, then what could be the outcome of that? All of that was not leading him to a very good conclusion. But Hanumanji is Hanumanji. He knows how to come out of this trap that has been set by material happenings. So he starts thinking about the Supreme Goddess of Fortune. Starts meditating on her. And the first thing that he addresses her is Kalyani. See, she is righteousness personified. That is the first thought. And what is her appearance? What is her constitution? So Tejasa. How righteous is she? She burns with the flames of righteousness. That is how she is. And because he's thinking of Sita, the idea of Sita brings in Lord Ram. So he says, Nunam Ram Prabhavena Vaidehya Sukritina Cha. Nunam Ram Prabhavena. Sita is connected to Ram. Sita has influence over Lord Ram. Nunam Ram Prabhavena. Lord Ram, who has such influence over the entire creation. And when he's separated from Sita, he's constantly thinking about her. So that is Sita's influence on Lord Ram. So, Nunam Ram Prabhavena. I am receiving the protection of Rama Prabhava. The potency of Lord Ram. Vaidehya Sukritena Cha. And at the same time, all the punya, all the pious credits of Vaidehi, that person who has transcended bodily existence, Vaidehi. So now Sita is being addressed as Vaidehi. She is Kalyani, now she is Vaidehi. Because Hanumanji has really gone into his bodily conception of life. So first he needs auspiciousness in his life. Then he needs to transcend the bodily conception of life. That cannot happen without Ram Prabhav. And who's Ram constantly? Who's he influenced by? Sita. So Hanumanji is now figuring out how Sita may not have been harmed by the fire. Yanmam dahana karmayam na dahadhavyavahana. Fire burns up objects. Because the nature of fire is to burn up things. It consumes everything. How is it that my tail did not get burnt? I mean, not even one hair on the tail is burnt. Hanumanji counted all of his hairs. Like, did even a hair get burnt? Because a monkey's tail and the hairs on the tail are very important. By Ram's greatness and Sita's good deeds, I was not burnt. So if their good deeds saves me, then their good deeds are capable of saving Sita too. So how could she, who is revered by three great personalities, Lakshman, Bharata and Shatrughna. Lakshman is the embodiment of all good fortune. One who is Lakshmi personified, Lakshmana, good fortune. Bharat is who is fortitude personified. He is capable of handling and taking on all kinds of responsibilities and make it an easy task for himself. And Shatrughna is the one who is capable of removing obstacles. Now, these three personalities worship Sita. How can Sita be touched by fire? And last but not the least, she is the darling of Lord Ram's heart. If she were burnt, Lord Ram immediately would have shrieked out right there because his heart would be burning. Sita is the darling of Lord Ram's heart. So obviously, Sita is safe. Yadva dahana karmayam sarvatra prabhuravyayah name dahati langulam. My tail, langulam. Katham aryam pradakshati. Arya, Sita. Now this is another visheshan, another adjective for Sita. She is Arya. What does Arya mean? The opposite of this word has been used in the Bhagavad Gita. Anarjushtama swargyam akirtikaram arjuna katham to kashmanamidam. Right? Anarya. And how does Prabhupada translate Anarya as? Uncivilized. Uncivilized. So what is Arya? Civilized. You know what does civilized mean? Civilized means that you are good at math, geometry. That is what is civilization. Civilization means that you know the sciences. And what is an uncivilized person? Doesn't know. So doesn't Sita know the sciences? Arya. He says, by the way, what burns up things? Fire. Who's fire? Fire is, we respect fire or we worship fire as Agni. Agni Dev, right? He says, Agni Dev, who himself is imperishable, but who causes everything else to perish, if Agni Dev has decided not to make my tail perish, then why would that Agni Dev burn of Sita. Doesn't make sense. How is my tail much more important than Sita? So if Agni hasn't burnt my tail, how would Agni be? How would he even agree to that purpose? So he's already proven that he can go against his nature. Correct? So many things in the Ramayana, in this episode, Sundarakand and the Yuddhakand, many of the elements are going against their nature. Water is going against its nature. Rocks are going against their nature. Fire is going against its nature. Rocks are not sinking. Water is not being displaced. So no displacement, it doesn't sink. Fire is not burning. Sounds like a Marvel comic movie. Isn't it? Why would he burn? Agni Dev burn Sita. And then Valmiki Rishi says, Tapasa Satyavakyena. This is very interesting because this is what we should do. All right. I will recite and you repeat after me. And then I'll explain why I made you do that. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tapasa Satyavakyena Ananyatvacha Bhartari Apisa Nirdahe Dagnim Natam Agni Pradhaksati. So, the reason I made you do that is because I made you take a vow right now that after the class you have to give me $1,000 each one of you. Otherwise, great misfortune will fall on you. You just agree to just repeat whatever I say. But that is not what it meant. What it meant is, and this is another mantra. If you want to chant this mantra, it is helpful. Very powerful mantra. By virtue of her austerities, truthfulness, and wholehearted devotion to her Lord, Tapasa Satyavakyena Ananyatvacha Bhartari. These words are so beautiful. Bhartari, her dear Lord. She can burn the fire itself. Fire by no means can burn her. So, this is a good mantra to overcome whatever burns you. When a blood boils, you can chant this mantra. The same mantra has manifested in our times as Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we have options now, right? This is beautiful. It describes Sita in such glory. Tapasa, Satyavakya, and especially this line. Ananya Tvachu, Ananya. Oh, beautiful. She is like, her affection for Lord Ram is so vast, like an ocean without shores. Ananya. Tvachu Bhartari. So how can fire burn her? And as Hanumanji was in this way meditating and trying to come out of his despair, the media persons of the universe came there. The media. They are called as the Charanas. Charan are people who travel and they speak about the activities of one place and another place. They are called as Charan. Charan. Travel. Charana. So the Charanas, and they have their own abilities. So some of them can fly in space without, at least that is how the Vedic scriptures describe that. The charanas of those time, the media people of those time, that is what media does, right? Collects data, information of one place and transmits it to another place, right? All over. So they get information and they transmit it. But they have these technical abilities. In those times they could travel through space. So we can hear of charanas appearing in the antariksha, in the vyoma, the spatial sky. They would appear there, see what is it, what events are unfolding, capture that, memorize that, remember that, go to another place and say, long, long ago in the city of Ayodhya, that is what charanas do. They recite. So the charanas, they came there. What an unimaginable task has been accomplished by Hanuman. Hanumanji is listening to his own glories. He has set all the houses of the Rakshasas on a terrible and extensive fire. All of the residents are out in the streets in panic and there is chaos everywhere. Media people, they do that? Yes? It seems that Lanka has turned into a city of wail, people wailing and crying. And it is surprising breaking news that the whole city with its ramparts and its towers and its gateways is burnt, but not Janaki. Breaking news. And Hanumanji is convinced, because charanas, media can never be wrong, right?
Not modern music.
So Hanumanji is convinced, oh, the charanas, they have supporting evidence. So Hanumanji becomes pacified. He realizes that his journey to Lanka on this trip has now come to an end, despite all of his heroics previously. It has now come to an end. So decides to pay Sita a visit and then go back to Lord Ramchandra. Yes? So, I want you to once again recite this mantra. Alright? The Krodha Mukta mantra. Krodhagni Bhasma mantra. These are my own terminologies. So, alright? Tapasa Satyavakyena Ananyatvacha Bhartari Apisa Nirdahed Agnim Natam Agni Pradhakshati. By virtue of her austerities, truthfulness and wholehearted devotion to her Lord, she can burn the fire itself. Fire by no means can burn her. Jai. Sita Maharani ki Jai. So there we come to an end of our presentation. Today, however, we should end it very, very congenially, right? So this is how I would like to end it. Sitaram, 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 Jai Sitaram.
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 Jaya Sitaram, 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 Jai Sitaram.
Sitaram, Sitaram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Are there any questions, comments, feedback? Yes. So you want to ask a question related to some other topic? All right. Mm. Okay, so your question is that we know that Krishna is the topmost God. Why do you know that? So why do ISKCON people tell you that Krishna is the topmost God?
Krishna himself tells.
Scripture says.
Scripture says, Bhagavatam says. So why do scriptures do that? I mean, that is so very, it appears to be so very biased.
Krishna himself
Mother
tells.
Gayatri is a Ved Mata and Ved says that.
Mother Gayatri is Ved Mata and Ved says that. So why do the Veds say that? Because Krishna is the Supreme God. Therefore they say that. Because that is the truth. Therefore they say. Krishna is all attractive. Being all attractive, he can manifest in many ways. Otherwise, we'll all be zombies, right? We'll just be prototypes of each other. Everyone being attracted to Krishna just in a particular format and just that one particular way. So because Krishna is all attractive, he likes various flavors. So he manifests in various ways. One of the ways that he manifests is mantras. So if Krishna manifests as a mantra, Krishna manifests as a hill, mountain. Do we know of something like that?
Yeah, Govardhan.
Yeah? We've heard of that? Does Krishna manifest as a mantra, the holy name? So is the holy name, if Krishna is the Supreme God, is the holy name also the Supreme God?
Yes.
Or no?
Yes.
If Krishna is the Supreme God, so is the hill that Krishna manifests as Giriraj, Govardhan, is that also the Supreme God then?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
So if Krishna manifests as mantra, is the mantra also the Supreme God? Yes or no?
Yes.
So if Krishna manifests as Gayatri mantra, is that also the Supreme God?
Yes.
Yes or no? So sitting here, can we go to Giriraj and do parikrama? So for that, where do we have to go?
And now.
Vrindavan. Right? Now if you're at a workplace, do you think you can chant their holy names? If you're in the middle of a meeting?
No.
So although the holy names are the Supreme Lord, although Giriraj is the Supreme Lord, there are certain considerations that makes it a little difficult for us to associate closely according to our circumstances. Similarly, the Gayatri Mantra is also the manifestation of Krishna. However, the way we chant Gayatri makes us associate with the Gayatri Mantra a little differently as when we associate with the all-attractive understanding of Krishna. Basically, it means that, or very simply, this could mean that if you want to do the Gayatri Mantra and think that the Gayatri Mantra is being offered to the Supreme Lord Krishna, do it like that. because it is being offered to the Supreme Hiranyagarbha. One of the Gayatri mantras does that. Or just simply chant Hare Krishna. And somebody has told you that because you have taken second initiation, so you just do the Gayatri 3 times a day and just understand that it is being offered to Krishna. And just leave the rest to people like me who are always confused and give different explanations. Is it alright? So if you just want to, let's say, I'm not trying to segregate things here, but let's say somebody just wants to be, not have that kind of complication, wants to have a little more simple approach to the practice in Krishna consciousness, then understand that the Gayatri mantra is not different from Krishna. The Gayatri mantra that we do in ISKCON is not different from Krishna. And so why do we do it? Because somebody that we respect told us that we should be doing it, then we do it. If that somebody would have told us that 3 times a day in addition chant especially Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then we would have done that. Correct? Because somebody like that always tells us, right? Oh, today is Janmashtami, we should do extra rounds. So you do extra rounds because somebody tells us. So similarly, somebody told us, someone that we respect, we honor, they told us that we should be doing it 3 Sandhya, 3 times a day. We do it. And if it becomes difficult to figure out why, then because this is supreme and that, it's all right if you don't get into it. Just accept that somebody has told you. Or if you want to understand the theology of it, then Gayatri Mantra is non-different from the mercy of Krishna. It is actually addressed to Krishna. Okay? All right. Any other question? Now, obviously, someone will say, no, but Gayatri is married to Brahma. Brahma is. So, Brahmaji, he wanted, if you go to Pushkar, the place where Brahmaji is worshipped, we also have the Savitri temple there. And it is also supposed to be the Gayatri temple also there. So, Brahmaji needed to satisfy Krishna through a fire sacrifice. Savitri Devi she was taking care of other things, so the yajna could not be performed. So then Brahmaji prayed to the local priests who prayed to Krishna. They said, okay, this is Gayatri now you can perform the yajna with her. So the yajna was done. Then after that Gayatri says, all right, am I only meant for this? Just to be with you for this yajna? So he says, no, because you are an energy of mine by the mercy of Krishna. So people will respect you because you helped me achieve the completion of this fire sacrifice, which was for the service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is in short, who is Gayatri Devi? Is it okay? All right. Any other questions related to today's topic? Yes.
Where Hanuman kept the ring?
I have a great desire to meet up with him someday and ask him that question. No, really, it has been on my mind for a long time. And I know that if I go and ask someone else, I'm not sure how they may take it. But yeah, it's an intrigue that someday I would like to have this mystery cleared up. Hanumanji, where did you? Because in the dramas we have to do it with the dhoti. So what kind of dhoti do you wear? So that is one of my motivation, that one day I have to meet up with Hanumanji personally. Yes, and ask him, where did you give the ring? How did you pay attention to that little detail? with Mainak, Surasa. I mean, he could have just, when he was talking to the king of mountains, he could have just put it on a rock somewhere. The flow now, again. Entering Surasa's mouth, Simhika, and if you believe Goswamiji, then Lankini is also there. The rings of power, the ring. Hanumanji carrying the signet ring, yes. So should we stop? Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.